Yeah, live.
Okay, so we're live on Facebook, Lindaschool page, Lindaschool Facebook page. And today we have Maria Helena with us, who kindly accepted this challenging invitation to have an interview in English whilst Marilyn is living in Portugal. She is different from some of the other interviews where people were living in England and New York and things like that. Maria Helena is in Portugal, but her English is really brilliant. And also, Maria Helena was not a Lina School student, but she stayed in our hearts in the same way as a Lina School student because she was part of the organizing team, the organizing committee for our Art in Motion Finds a Voice concert that was organized it was organized between 2016-17 and went on stage in May 2017. So welcome, Maria Helena. Can you
Hi,
please tell us
Tanya.
a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Maria Helena. I am 20 years old. I am from Lisbon, but I live in Tomar for a really long time. And at the moment, as I said in my bio, I am not studying. I already went to college, but the degree that I was taking wasn't what I really wanted. So I decided to stop studying for a while to decide what I really wanted to do. And I am in the middle of a gap year that it has that has been more than a year by now. I've been in this gap year for a year and a half right now. And what I'm trying to do is to experience, travel, and to work as much as I can so I can get to know what I really want to do with my life.
Do you know that I didn't know this, but because we've been doing some events with the Gap Year Association, do you
Uh-huh.
know that the gap year isn't necessarily 1 year?
Yeah,
It
I
can
knew
go
that.
on for years. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in your gap year for as long as you decide it serves you.
That's
And you know
true.
what? That is really courageous because from what I see, like most of your friends, and I know a lot of them, and actually most youngsters your age in Portugal don't do that. I mean, it's not something
Yeah.
people do. So that must be quite challenging for you, because I know that we always sort of try and fit in, but you're jumping out, like sort of jumping out of the matrix
Yeah.
of what
Yep. Yep.
other
Yep.
youngsters your age do. What's that like?
At the beginning, it was very frustrating because when I talked to people of what I was doing, I needed to tell them that I wasn't studying. And in Portugal, people don't accept that really well. They're like, "Oh, if you're starting to work, you're not going to return to your studies." And that can be really frustrating because you don't feel motivated or supported by anyone around you because people don't get the concept of a gap year of stopping your studies to have some time for yourself to
Mm-hmm.
really think about what you like and what you want to do. People just jump into a certain degree that they are not really sure about,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. In Portugal,
That's
it's
what
quite
happened to you,
frustrating.
right?
Yeah.
In the first, like in your first attempt,
um Not really, actually, because
you
I
wanted
went.
that, you really wanted that.
No, I already knew that I didn't want that degree, but I
Oh,
went
okay.
anyway because
Right.
the degree that I went to in 2018, yeah, in September 2018, it was called General Studies, and I went
Uh-huh.
to every faculty of Lisbon's university. That
Mm.
was a degree that I would have the possibility of trying everything
Okay.
that I could possibly think. So I used to have classes at 10 a.m. at fine arts, and then my afternoon classes would be at the science faculty of Lisbon's
Wow.
university. Yeah, it would be really amazing, and that would give me the opportunity to really see and discover what I truly liked.
Mm.
So yeah, I went to that degree to find my passion,
Okay,
but it
and
didn't
did you
work out
find
really
is
well.
okay? So then you decided to
No.
do a gap year.
Yeah, because I had so many different subjects and classes and faculties and people from everywhere that I got really confused, more confused
Mm.
than when I first got into that degree,
Mm-hmm.
that bachelor degree. So I decided to stop studying because it stopped making sense to me to be having classes um, just to have them, just to
Yeah.
get to the end of the degree and saying, oh, I have a degree, because that was everything. That was what everyone was saying to me at the time. Don't quit your studies. Don't do that. Just finish it. Just finish it. And it wasn't making sense to me. So I just
Mm-hmm.
stopped studying in March 2019. So a year and a half ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was such a bold move, Maria Helena. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It takes so much courage to do something like that. Really. Very,
Yeah,
very courageous.
it was quite challenging, mostly because of peer pressure of friends, family, and
Mm-hmm.
all that. But thank you.
Yeah. So, when you were with us during the that sort of
Hmm.
school year where we
Yeah,
had this Art in Motion Finds a Voice project, which aimed to raise funds for the Africa Life Education Foundation, founded by Gertrude Mache, who came here
yeah,
in October, and she gave a speech at lindaschool, which I think you came to, right? Did you come
yeah.
when she, yeah, you came
I
and
came to.
you did some beautiful drawings on the
Yeah,
paintings, I remember. And then we had a painting auction, and raised some funds with those paintings. And then during that event, you started talking to each other and decided, why don't we do something more? And then the
hmm.
idea of the concert came up. So it was your idea, like yours, Maria Galvão, first and
Kikas.
initially,
Yeah,
right? That you started thinking about a way of raising funds. And so then and Francisca as well, Francisca Quadri, who was actually doing the how do you call it, the Grab Your Chance project with us at the time.
hmm.
She was working
Yeah. I
part-time with
remember that.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah. So so then we got a few more youngsters to come into the organizing team, and from October in up to May, it was full on with the organization. And I remember how much you changed from the beginning to
yeah,
the end. It was like watching a flower blooming. And before, you were very shy, and you were a bit negative as well, sort of. You didn't really believe things were possible, and then you started believing, and you started really actually being a
yeah.
motivator in the team, and also relating to the others in the team,
Hmm.
more and more, in a cooperative way, in an open way. And another thing I noticed was, like, when at the end, during the concert itself, when you had to go on stage and present the concert, and that was sort of right completely out of your scope of imagination
Yep.
at the time. And but after that, it was like all of a sudden you were glowing on the stage. And it was such a change, such, while we're watching this happening, it's so beautiful. So but you were in it. So now my question is, in what way did all of this unfolding of the real Maria Helena then now come and bring you to the point where you actually are doing something completely out of the box
Hmm.
that none of your friends are doing, basically?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, how was that experience for you at the time, and how did that somehow trigger the way you are doing things now?
Actually, I haven't thought about the art in motion experience that way, but it indeed changed me a lot, and possibly a lot of things that I do right now, like in my right, when I say right now, I mean the last year,
Mm-hmm.
in my last year. Possibly it was due to my experience with the organizing committee of the Art in Motion Find the Voice concert. But as you were saying in the beginning, I was indeed a really negative, narrow-minded, and stubborn person. I remember that I had a lot of arguments with a lot of people of the committee because I didn't believe that we could do something so big. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the confidence, the self-esteem, the the I was really insecure at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not so shy as you said. I was insecure.
Mm.
And as you said, the experience in a whole opened me so many possibilities. It opened my mind in a way that I have no words, because I went from a really negative and really I don't think I have the correct word for it, but yeah, I was really narrow-minded. Any of the
Okay.
ideas of the group would make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But with the time and with all the reunions that we had, and with all the arguments, with all the discussions, with all the time that we spent together talking about the project, I think that uh, I little by little started to open my mind to listen for real to what other people have, because in my opinion, I think that one of my biggest one of the life skills that I think personally that I really developed with this experience was listening to others, was listening to others have to say, listening to their thoughts, to their ways of seeing things, because sometimes you just need to see things from other perspectives that you
Mm-hmm.
haven't really thought about them. So you need to listen first to other people, so you can see different perspectives.
So
Yeah, I
that's
think
what
that
you're
was.
doing at the moment, right? Like with your gap year, from what I saw in your
Mm,
bio, you said you wanted to meet as many people as possible and
mm-hmm.
experience different jobs, different things. So basically that's what you're doing, sort of listening and absorbing different
Yeah,
perspectives.
exactly. Actually, I have a good example for this situation. That is, I started to work in restaurants and coffee shops, and a lot of a lot of restoration. Is that how you call
Mm-hmm.
in
Well, it
English?
doesn't really matter.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I started to work
It's
in this area a lot.
uh-huh.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
bad.
go on, go on. Go on,
Yeah,
go
but I
on.
started to work in this area a lot, and this type of jobs allowed me to experience a different world. For example, the first job that I got when I quitted my studies, when I got back home from college, was in a winery, and
Mm.
I didn't like wine as much as I do now, because I didn't knew this world. And right now, I'm even thinking about maybe taking a degree of enology or something related to wine due to this experience. That I'm not
Wow.
sure. Yeah, yeah, but I like to think that even though things don't get, even though things don't go as we plan, sometimes it's because we have better things coming for us,
Yeah.
and that's why some things
That's
don't go as we
that's a
plan.
really great learning curve when we allow ourselves to realize that it's not necessarily that it's something bad, that what we wanted is not happening, but that
Yep.
it's an opportunity because something else is in our path. So you've experienced that firsthand yourself.
Uh-huh.
I know that you are now a very firm believer that you can create your reality through your conscious choices. So, and I know you had an experience recently that led you chose to do something and you won a prize or something like that. I'm not very sure what it was that you decided you were gonna sort of travel somewhere or do something
Oh,
related to that, and you managed to get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I already know what you're talking about. Last summer, I wanted to do a really big trip through the Eastern Europe for like
Mm-hmm.
2 months, but I couldn't do it because I I only got a job in May, so
Mm-hmm.
it was quite a short period of time, so I could go during the summer to do this trip. So
Mm-hmm.
I worked during all summer basically, and then at the end of August, I decided to use my day offs of work to explore a little bit of the south of Portugal that actually at the time I didn't know. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to south of Portugal. I have never went to south of Portugal on that time. So I decided to
Mm-hmm.
go like 3 days, and I went by myself, and that was a thing that I would never do in my life
Yeah, I can
at that time.
imagine.
Yeah, it was really out of my comfort zone, but I decided to do it just so I could go further in my self development. That
Mm-hmm.
is something that I am trying to do a lot more now that I have time during this gap year.
Yeah.
Um, and then 1 month later, I in September 2019, I enjoyed so much the experience of going like 3 days to the south of Portugal that I booked a bus ticket to Barcelona and went to Barcelona for a week all by myself alone.
Wow.
uh, yeah, and my parents, they didn't accept really well that, but
Mm-hmm.
it was one of the most rewarding experience that I do have until today. I met some wonderful people. I went with myself. I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
my own company. That I think that is one of the most wonderful things that you can do when you travel
Yeah.
alone or when you start to explore things
Most people
by your
never really
own.
go there, never go to understanding that because they don't allow themselves to go alone.
Yeah, it's the fear. We are all
Yeah.
really manipulated by
It's
fear,
being
by our
self-conscious
own
and
mind.
thinking that other people are, what are they going to think about us and things like that, right?
Yeah, that is also a really big factor that I haven't really thought about because I don't think about what other people think about what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that is also
So what do you think
important.
stops people from doing this, and what would you offer as sort of motivation or advice for someone who is sort of on the edge, like thinking of doing it but needing the courage?
It depends on what is it depends on what is moving the person not to do it. At the
Mhm.
time, I didn't do it earlier because I was afraid of my parents' reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and about being robbed or assaulted or
Yeah.
even
Mm-hmm.
worse even worse things. But that is basically because I'm a woman, and that would
Mm-hmm.
be it is always kind of harder for women to do
Yeah,
things
for
alone.
a girl or a woman to do that
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. And that was basically what was moving me from not doing it.
Yeah.
So it depends on the factors of people not doing it.
So how
But
did you
basically,
overcome that fear?
I actually don't know. I just went for it. I just went for it.
Okay.
I just thought, if it's not going to be now, when is it going to be?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I'm just giving excuses to myself for not doing it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Mm-hmm.
what people do for
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah. Not
sometimes
only
you just
for
need
traveling
to,
alone, right?
yeah, it's for everything. We are always giving excuses to everything that we don't want to do or are afraid to do. But I
Mm-hmm.
would say that whatever is keeping you from not doing whatever you want to do, it's really important to see which are the pros and which are the cons,
Mm-hmm.
and how well is it going to be, if how good is it going to be for you if you do that thing that
Mm-hmm.
you're keeping
Okay,
yourself from
so
doing.
what did you gain from the experience? Like, other apart from meeting new people and that, but I mean for yourself, in what way did you grow?
um, I got much more independent than what I was already, and it's things that doing things that we are afraid of is really much easier. They are really much easier to do than we think, much
Mm.
more easier. But people
Mm.
just like, we are just
But you
coming
only know
back
that
to
when
what
you're
I said
doing it,
earlier.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's basically that. But I also learned that whatever you want to do with your life, you can do it. You just need to think positively and believe that you are going to do it. If you believe it, it's yours. You can do
What
whatever you
I
want.
what I what I really believe in is if you feel something is right for you in your heart, if it really makes you feel joyful and it's a peaceful feeling and it's something that you really feel is for you, whatever your mind is saying, it doesn't really matter, because when your heart is telling you that's the way, then that's the way. And you can only show your mind that it's okay if you do it. Otherwise, you'll
Yeah.
just stay in that loop, continuously looking at the negative reasons why not to do what your heart is inviting you to do. And here, where I say heart, I don't mean emotions. I mean that feeling that when something is right, that is what I really want.
Like you're in, I think that's
Your
what you're trying to say is
intuition.
like your, yeah, your
Yeah.
intuition. Yeah.
Exactly. When your intuition
Yeah, I agree
invites
with
you to
you.
do something, no matter what your mind says, for sure it's going to be a great experience. Unless, of course, you allow the mind to command the experience.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. And I also learned that as long as you are in a good mindset
Mm-hmm.
with a good and positive thinking, you can get anywhere. You can
So
attract good things for you.
you don't attract those bad things that you were thinking
Yeah,
about before.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I
Mm-hmm.
basically didn't remember all those fears that my mom was constantly reminding of. You can be robbed, you can be assaulted, you can be uh, wherever. She was always reminding me of all those things, but they were in the back of my mind. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't remember them the whole trip,
So you
and
felt safe.
yeah,
All right.
and
Wow, what a
it was
wonderful experience.
yeah, it was really really good actually. And
And
I made, yeah, no,
please go on.
sorry.
No, no,
I
please
was
go on.
saying that I was saying that even though I was alone, I met people that I still have contact with today, and I made a second trip like this to Amsterdam,
Mm.
to the Netherlands, and to Belgium in January before the whole pandemic situation. And I went to Amsterdam with a friend of mine that I made
Hmm.
in Barcelona.
Wow.
Uh, yeah.
Isn't
It
that
was an amazing,
interesting?
yeah, it was really incredible. Because firstly, I never thought that I could go on a trip by myself.
Hmm.
Secondly, I never thought that I could make friends from
So easily,
the,
right? From
yeah, so easily. And it wasn't like, it wasn't making friends so easily. It was making friends that you have good connections with from
hmm.
another part of the world. It was
Yeah.
really incredible. And I also learned that you can change your mindset really, really quick. I don't think at all like I used to
Hmm.
1 year ago. And that is more than okay. And people are constantly learning and developing and
Hmm.
evolving.
Hmm.
And change is not as bad as people think too.
Yeah. And that's fantastic wisdom you're sharing with everyone. And like, because you're working, and now I know you're working quite hard in the summertime. Do you
Yeah.
also face your job with that same kind of sort of mindset that you're just learning
Yeah.
all the time and evolving?
Yeah, sure. And it's not only in this specific job. It's in
Mm-hmm.
everything that we put energies to, in my opinion, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see things um, in the artist way, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you'll have. I don't think you'll be in. I don't think you'll be peaceful with yourself, with others. You won't
Mm-hmm.
be. You won't be giving or transmitting good energies to others, and that can be quite exhausting in my opinion, because
Mm.
I used to be a really negative person. And
Mm-hmm.
the more negative I was, the more negativity I would receive, if
Attract.
this makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced the exact opposite. Last
So,
summer
so
I
now you
was,
know the difference between
yeah,
both
last summer,
both worlds.
yeah, because last summer was when I started to feel more positive again
Mm-hmm.
after coming back home from college. Because, as I said earlier, it was really frustrating at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when the summer season came, I started to feel more positive, happier, and really good things happened to me because I was giving and attracting positivity,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I think it
Yeah.
works that way. But
Imagine if you were going to get up every day and think, oh, here's another tiring day and it's going to be so hard and
that
so
one,
on. Of course, that wouldn't
yeah,
work,
I
right?
I don't think that works, because I've worked
Mm-hmm.
with people that thought that way, and
Yeah.
things wouldn't be good. The
Yeah.
work wouldn't be as good as, for example, with some friends of mine that I could work with, that would be more positive, or more calm with the
Mhm.
work and with
That's
the
that's
the
exactly
stress
where I
caused
was
by that.
going. There you are. I was going to ask you, what have you learned about dealing with stressful situations?
Mm. A lot. I've learned
Yeah,
a lot.
good. So, could
uh,
you please share?
yeah, I can give you an example that sometimes I still use during some more stressful shifts. Sometimes, especially in the area that I work, um, it can be really exhausting to go everywhere in a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and you are constantly moving, and I would stress so easily because I wanted to give everything to everyone at the same time, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't work like that. So I started to think, okay, if it's not going faster, it's not going slower either.
Mm-hmm.
It will go when it's possible.
Yeah.
That in Portuguese I used to say, não vai mais depressa, vai mais devagar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I translated correctly, but I think you got what I
Yeah.
meant. But that was one of the situations that I would get really stressed out, really anxious, and I sometimes struggle with anxiety, and it can be quite difficult to manage anxiety with the work and the all stressful situation that it is to be working in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But it helped me a lot to deal with my emotions, to be more
Mm-hmm.
rational, to control what I'm feeling, and to have control of my feelings, my emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore control of the situation. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you control what you are feeling, you can control easier
Mm-hmm.
the whole situation that you are in.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Great. So, yeah, because otherwise the emotions will simply kidnap you, and then you're no longer in charge, right? Then it's the emotions
yeah.
that are in charge, and that won't serve you for sure.
Mm-hmm. In my
Great.
opinion,
So,
that
yeah,
works.
during our concert organization, we also had some of those situations, as you can remember, because
Mm-hmm.
when we're organizing things, there are always things that are not exactly as we
Yeah.
expect them to be. But I remember at the time you also managed quite well to deal with those situations because you were open to changing the mindset. And I can tell you, when I sat down in the main hall to watch, because I was sitting as a spectator, like to watch the concert.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't in the backstage looking at. I just left it to you guys, and because I felt that was the best thing to do, because
Yeah.
I was sure that no matter what, you would be able to deal with it. And when that curtain lifted and everything started, I was absolutely amazed, because then I know it seemed quite disorganized before, because the rehearsals weren't going as expected, people
Yeah.
were missing, etc., all of these things. And it seemed like, oh my God, this is all completely upside
Yeah.
down, remember? And then
Mm-hmm. It was
it was
crazy.
like,
It was completely crazy.
when it started, it was like some magic wand came over the whole thing, and it just
Yeah.
rolled seamlessly, and no one ever knew that there had been all of this chaos behind the curtains going on, right?
I
So
remember
at
that.
that moment, you were confident. You had to be. I mean, you couldn't let yourself get
Mm-hmm.
overtaken by your emotions, right?
Yeah, but I remember that I was really, really nervous. Nervous like I don't think I ever was before.
And were you more nervous
That was
because
a
you had to speak on stage, or because of all of the chaos going on?
both actually, but mostly because of presenting the
Yeah.
concert. I wasn't at all, as I told you before, with the correct mindset, energy, attitude. I didn't have the self-esteem, the confidence to be on stage talking to so many people.
Yeah, because we
But it was,
filled the thing, right? It was full,
mm-hmm,
completely full.
yeah.
400 people.
Yeah, it was a lot of people and a lot of known people.
Yeah.
And
Friends
I
and
think that,
family.
yeah, but it was a really good challenge because if I didn't had pushed myself into that situation, I probably wouldn't have gained the confidence that I gained at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Wow, what a wonderful memory. The thing is, when memories like this, that like that experience are really life changing, then they actually influence us for many years to come, because
Yeah,
they bring up in us things that we never knew we had, right? That we didn't know we had in us. And for me, it
yeah.
was beautiful to work with all of you and to see each one sort of developing in different ways. And then to see the concert, like, was wow, what happened here? Because I remember going earlier to the rehearsal and it seemed like, okay, I'm not even going to think
Yeah.
about it. It's okay. I'm sure it's going to be okay. And I never, ever, ever thought it was going to be anything but just perfect.
It was amazing. It was incredible, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are a lot of people from the time that we used to go to high school with those people that they
Mhm.
still talk about the concert
Remember,
and
there
the
was
committee.
a band that was formed during the first. They first created the band for the concert itself. Now it's not exist in
Oh,
existence anymore. Which was the what's their name? Oh boy, can't remember. Well,
I
but
don't
then they were
remember that.
invited to play in summer concerts in different places around Tomar, and
Oh, I think I already know who you were talking about. Was
yeah,
that extempore?
yeah. No, no, that band already
No.
existed. Then there's the other
I
with
thought they.
Vasco as the singer, where Vasco
Oh,
was the singer.
oh. I
They
remember that
weren't
we
the
tried
band
to.
before.
Yeah, we tried to create a band name for them, but I don't
Yeah,
remember the name actually.
yeah, Full
Oh, I
House.
remember
Then they
that.
called themselves Full
Oh,
House. Now I remember.
yeah. With
And
the
then they actually they got contracts for concerts during the summer because people really enjoyed them during our
uh-huh,
concert,
uh-huh.
because it was the
Yeah, yeah,
first
yeah. I
time they were
remember that.
together.
I remember that.
And these things, it makes it worth it. Sometimes when we are in the midst of a big project like that, there are moments when you feel like giving up. We all go through that when we're in big
Yeah.
projects. Everyone goes through that, but you keep on because you know you can't give up, because I mean that's completely out of the question. There's too many people who are dependent on what you're doing, and you just can't give up. And then when you actually see the final result, it's it's just so fulfilling, because so many things come from there. It's enriching for everyone.
It really was.
It was very, very special. So thank
And
you
I,
so
I
much. Tell me, what were you gonna say?
I didn't remember. I didn't remember that they were actually contracted. I haven't remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is really
Okay.
good. Not only for them, but a lot of other people.
Yeah, for sure. For a lot of people did come out transformed one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't done another one. We were gonna do last year, but there were a bit there were a few issues with the organization, and it was hard because they didn't have much time and so on, so we didn't do it. And well, whatever, who knows? Anyway, it doesn't really matter if it's happening again or not, because things don't need to happen again and again.
Yeah,
um, that moment is special in itself, and it makes
that
a
is true.
difference. Yeah. Well, so we've already been on for 40 minutes, which is a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
than usual, because
Oh.
yeah, but it's okay, because we don't have a specific limit. It's around about
Okay.
half an hour. But this conversation with you has been so enlightening, and you've brought up so many really, really relevant points that can help not only youngsters, anyone, because no matter what age people are, they everyone goes through these things at different stages in
Yeah.
life, you know. And even when we think we've overcome something, sometimes something comes up that is more challenging, and again we are invited to go further. And just to finish off, so have you found your passion, or are you still sort of seeking or trying to feel into that?
Um,
Have you decided what you're going to do next, or not yet?
that is a really hard question to answer, because if it depended on me, I would I would go for something really humanitarian,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't, because first I don't have the capacities right now in this moment for it, or the financial support to
Mm-hmm.
enroll in something so out of the box like this. But
Mm-hmm.
I definitely conclude that I really do love art in every form, and I would like to do something with it. Not really sure what, not really sure if a study specification. I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm really sure is that I do love it, and that is already a good conclusion.
Yeah.
But about a passion, no, I don't think I've already found
Then
my
again,
passion.
art again
But
is out of the box, because people usually consider, to be an artist, it's something that doesn't bring you money and so on and so forth. And
yeah,
it's another challenge, right?
yeah, another challenge to the book of challenges.
Well, so apparently you were born to challenge new frontiers.
Yeah, I think so. Let's
Great.
see. Let's see.
I look forward to knowing more about you in the coming years, and to see how things unfold in their natural sense, and that you always remain open, and do not mind about what other people are thinking, and really follow your intuition, and trust it, as you have been doing so far.
Let's see how this goes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the invite, Tanya. Thank you.
And by the way, I'd just like to let everyone know that Maria Helena,
Mm.
she wasn't an English student with us, so her English is all due to her own capacity and her own skill, and it's excellent. Thank you for accepting to be interviewed
Thank you.
in English, whilst you don't speak English every day. And I know how challenging that can be, to be interviewed in a second language. You brilliant, Maria Helena. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you again, Tanya.
And then
Thank you.
thank you everyone who has been watching. And next week, next Sunday, we will not have our interview. We will have a break, and then the following Sunday again, and we'll take it on from there. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't watched the previous ones, now is your time to do it, because next Sunday we're not going to be adding one more. And see you soon. Thank you, Maria Helena. Thank you, everyone online.
Thank
And
you.
I will now end our broadcast.